Take me there, please. Take me there, please.
Take me there, please.
Lléveme ahí, por favor.
No one was to blame. No one was to blame.
No one was to blame.
Nadie tuvo la culpa.
The worst is over. The worst is over.
The worst is over.
Lo peor ya ha pasado.
Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
Where do I sign?
¿Dónde firmo?
What would it be? What would it be?
What would it be?
¿Cuál sería?
My leg puffed up. My leg puffed up.
My leg puffed up.
Mi pierna se hinchó.
He has a very cushy job. He has a very cushy job.
He has a very cushy job.
Tiene un trabajo muy cómodo.
Catch you later. Catch you later.
Catch you later.
Nos vemos luego.
I messed up. I messed up.
I messed up.
Lo arruiné.
He pulled some cash out. He pulled some cash out.
He pulled some cash out.
Sacó algo de dinero.
I need a helping hand. I need a helping hand.
I need a helping hand.
Necesito que me echen la mano.
Go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
Hazlo.
It's none of my business. It's none of my business.
It's none of my business.
No es asunto mío.
Do you have any stepbrothers? Do you have any stepbrothers?
Do you have any stepbrothers?
¿Tienes hermanastros?
It feels stifling. It feels stifling.
It feels stifling.
Se siente sofocante.
They just left. They just left.
They just left.
Se acaban de ir.
I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon.
I'm over the moon.
Estoy muy feliz.
Speak up a little louder. Speak up a little louder.
Speak up a little louder.
Hable un poco más alto.
Break a leg. Break a leg.
Break a leg.
Buena suerte.
His shirt was smeared. His shirt was smeared.
His shirt was smeared.
Su camisa estaba manchada.
I owe you one. I owe you one.
I owe you one.
Te debo una.
Give it to the boss. Give it to the boss.
Give it to the boss.
Dáselo al jefe.
What's for lunch today? What's for lunch today?
What's for lunch today?
¿Qué hay para comer hoy?
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that.
No entendí eso.
There was billows of smoke. There was billows of smoke.
There was billows of smoke.
Había nubes de humo.
Choose whatever you want. Choose whatever you want.
Choose whatever you want.
Elige lo que quieras.
God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Que Dios le bendiga.
What's behind all this? What's behind all this?
What's behind all this?
¿Qué hay detrás de todo esto?
Stop kidding. Stop kidding.
Stop kidding.
Déjate de bromas.
It's sunny. It's sunny.
It's sunny.
Está soleado.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Cuídate.
I'm very grateful to you. I'm very grateful to you.
I am very grateful to you.
Estoy muy agradecido contigo.
May I know who is calling? May I know who is calling?
May I know who is calling?
¿Puedo saber quién llama?
He's an awkward customer. He's an awkward customer.
He's an awkward customer.
Es un cliente incómodo.
Talk to you later. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Hablamos más tarde.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Perdón por eso.
I didn't mean to bump into you. I didn't mean to bump into you.
I didn't mean to bump into you.
No fue mi intención tropezarte.
I miss my parents. I miss my parents.
I miss my parents.
Extraño mis padres.
Don't be so excited. Don't be so excited.
Don't be so excited.
No te emociones tanto.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Bastante bueno.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
What's the matter?
¿Qué pasa?
Don't make the same mistake. Don't make the same mistake.
Don't make the same mistake.
No cometas el mismo error.
They were kissing. They were kissing.
They were kissing.
Se estaban besando.
She smiled at me. She smiled at me.
She smiled at me.
Me sonrió.
I lost my flight. I lost my flight.
I lost my flight.
Perdí mi vuelo.
You ought to be more careful. You ought to be more careful.
You ought to be more careful.
Deberías tener más cuidado.
He hugged his girlfriend. He hugged his girlfriend.
He hugged his girlfriend.
Abrazó a su novia.
How dare you say that? How dare you say that?
How dare you say that?
¿Cómo te atreves a decir eso?
I'm slightly hungry. I'm slightly hungry.
I'm slightly hungry.
Tengo un poco de hambre.
See you soon. See you soon.
See you soon.
Nos vemos pronto.
That's a handy little gadget. That's a handy little gadget.
That's a handy little gadget.
Es un aparatito muy útil.
Listen to your elders. Listen to your elders.
Listen to your elders.
Escucha a tus mayores.
Where is the toilet? Where is the toilet?
Where is the toilet?
¿Dónde está el baño?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
No te preocupes por eso.
Let's go to eat. Let's go to eat.
Let's go to eat.
Vamos a comer.
I've stored all books. I've stored all books.
I've stored all books.
He guardado todos los libros.
Look behind you. Look behind you.
Look behind you.
Mira detrás de ti.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Tengo miedo.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
No estoy seguro.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
No me toques.
Medicine ought to be free. Medicine ought to be free.
Medicine ought to be free.
La medicina debería ser gratuita.
Upon review, the goal was disallowed. Upon review, the goal was disallowed.
Upon review, the goal was disallowed.
Tras la revisión, el gol fue anulado.
She sat back for a minute. She sat back for a minute.
She sat back for a minute.
Ella se sentó durante un minuto.
Quadruplets are extremely rare. Quadruplets are extremely rare.
Quadruplets are extremely rare.
Los cuatrillizos son extremadamente raros.